Well, hello YouTube. This is going to be a 1,000-mile review. I got 1,000 miles on the Ariel Rider X class last week, and I just thought I'd talk about some things on it, some of my likes and dislikes. I made a list of stuff, so just so I don't forget to talk about anything here. First of all, let's go over the likes. Well, first of all, let's talk about, have I had any problems with it? Not really. Not one. It's been flawless. What I did do is, after I had a couple hundred miles on it, I did go over the bike and tightened anything that I could tighten. If I could get an Allen wrench in it, I snugged it up. If I could get a wrench on it, I snugged it up. Nothing has come loose. I haven't had any issues whatsoever. So, I don't know if I'm just lucky with this, or if, these bikes are in fact that durable, but I ride mine every day. If it's not raining, I'm on the bike. It's as simple as that. So, problems? None. I haven't had any. Let me see if I got this camera adjusted right, make sure I'm not cutting my ugly head off. Alright, there we go. Just in case. So I made a list that, I guess you could call it pros and cons, but really what it is it's likes and dislikes. My likes, the power on this thing is excellent. I think that it has more power than most of the bikes that are out there. Now, on e-bikes, power and speed, people often get these mixed up. When I say power, it's got really good power from a takeoff, regardless of whether I'm pedaling or whether I'm using the twist throttle, going up hills, all kinds of power. It really does really well. Power, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Speed, it's adequate. A lot of people that are out there, not so much with the older folks like myself, but mostly with the younger kids, and I call them kids. Anybody that's half my age is a kid. Anyway, the younger generation, it's all about speed. Speed. If I was in my 30s, yeah, I'd probably be modifying the heck out of this thing and seeing how fast I could get it to go. But this is what I find. For me, commuting back and forth to work in the city, 30 miles an hour with throttle, it hits 32. I think there's like a 4 mile per hour, it's generous 4 miles an hour. So really top speed, if I'm doing 32 on the bike, 32, 33, you're doing 28, 29, and in the city that's fine, that's adequate. Riding on the sidewalk, I don't even need to go that fast. Most of the time when I'm commuting back and forth to work and I'm pedaling on the bike, and I use pedal assist level 4, so that I feel some resistance in the pedals, so that I know that I'm not relying solely on battery power, and that gives me more range. It does 23 mile an hour, and that's adequate. Now, throttle only, like I say, tops out at about 32, 33. It's fine. It doesn't need to really do anything more than that. So if you're not happy with that kind of speed, you're probably looking at the wrong kind of bike. Now, most of the e-bikes that are out there on the market, my girlfriend's got an Aventon or the electrics or whatever brand there is out there. They do 25, 28 miles an hour. That's what most of them do. So this one actually goes a little bit faster, and it has a little bit more power. And power is just because of the peak wattage of the motor. It peaks out at 2,000 watts. It's 1,000 watt nominal. And that doesn't have anything to do with the speed. That just gets you going. And that's adequate as well. Now, the suspension. Let's go over the suspension. The front fork works adequate, and it's got about, I don't know, maybe 3 inches of travel to it. Riding around the city, going up and down sidewalks, handicap ramps, curbs, things like that. I don't do a lot of curb hopping, but when I say curbs, it's like where your driveway meets the street. Going up and down those kind of bumps, it's fine. Michigan roads are terrible, and so it really helps to smooth that out. So the front fork, that's fine. the styling of the bike. I love the styling. It's a moped style bike, and which is what I wanted. I'm very, very happy with it. What else do I get? Well, being it on this moped style bike, and I put this bag on it and all these accessories that you see on it, it's really a conversation piece. I can't really get in any kind of a crowd or anything like that without getting a gazillion questions from people. People see this thing and they're just drawn to it like a magnet, and that's pretty cool because I get to talk to people a lot about e-bikes, and I promote e-bikes, and you know, I try to be an advocate for the hobby, if that's what you want to call it, or the sport, or whatever it is, but the lifestyle. So you know, it gets a lot of attention. The other thing that I'd like to talk about, wire management. They have the looms, all the wires are nice and neat. Let's see if I can bring you over and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. They did a really good job with wire management. Let's see if I can get you off the tripod. Alright, so what I'm talking about here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because the sun is pretty bright, but you know, the wire management, the way they got this all wrapped up, it's excellent. And then it feeds down and it goes into the frame and it's hidden, and it comes up underneath the frame and it goes into this little hole right here. So in at the top of the frame, and then you got the little hole back here in the back. I don't know if we can see that. So wire management on this thing is excellent. Alright, put your back on the tripod. I haven't had any issues, no tangles, no breaks, no nothing. I think they did a really good job of routing all the wires and everything on it. Handling on this thing, it's excellent. It handles and steers really, really quick. I mean, if you need to make a quick turn with it, and you can lay this thing over and make a really quick turn, the handling on it is excellent. The kickstand. Let's talk about the kickstand. Not too many people talk about this. I talked about it when I put it together, that it's a solid kickstand. I mean, you know, when you take it on and off the kickstand, you know, it's solid. It's got a good spring. It's very sturdy. I've never had the bike fall over. It supports it. It does what it's supposed to do. It's excellent. I give them prompts for that. Okay, so I think that pretty much covers most of my likes for the bike. Now let's get into the dislikes, and there's not a lot. And what I do have that I dislike, a lot of the stuff is it's minor. So first dislike, and this has been going on first generation X-Class, second generation X-Class. When they got to the third generation, they fixed it. The rear shock. I've talked about it before. Other people have talked about it. It is way too stiff, and I know why it is. The spring on it is rated at 1,000 pounds. Now, if you had two people on here, and this bike did come with foot pegs on them, and heavy duty foot pegs, really sturdy, folding up, you know, to get out of the way, and when you fold them down, you could take a passenger if you'd like. But as you can see, I never have a passenger because I got my top case on here. The rear shock is way too stiff. It should be about a 500-pound spring. That would be one of my main dislikes about this bike. It pounds you when you're riding. It is. I got it backed off as loose as I can, and it's still way too stiff. The seat. Let's talk about the seat. It's a brick. When you first sit on it, it's comfortable. You know, a couple of miles, it's comfortable. You go for a long ride, it's not comfortable. It gets pretty hard after a while, and part of that may be because of the rear shock as well. So between the two of them, your backside takes kind of a pounding. This is something that I'm going to fix. I'm going to redo the upholstery on this seat at one point. Not right away. but it is something that I am going to address. The seat could be a little softer. I think if they cut an inch of foam out of it and put an inch of gel into it, that would be awesome. So that's what I'm going to do to it. The brakes. This is a pet peeve of mine with this bike. The brakes work excellent. Really, really good stopping power. I mean, and when it comes to stopping power, I got nothing bad to say about these brakes. What do I not like about them? I don't care what I do to it, I cannot get them to stop squeaking. And if I do, it only lasts for a little while and then they squeak again. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's the pad material. I don't know if it's because it's a single piston. But these Tektro brakes, and I've seen it on a lot of other bikes, not just on the Ariel Rider bikes, but most of these, Chinese bikes that are coming over here, they all use the same components. They have these Tektro brakes on them, and like I said, the stopping power on them is amazing. But they squeak, and it's annoying. A bike this nice should not squeal to a stop. It should silently stop. All right, so enough of harping on the brakes. Now, at some point, I'm going to look into seeing if I can change the calipers. I think I would like to go to a dual piston caliper, and maybe that will take care of the problem. The headlight. All right, looks really cool. It's a neat looking headlight, but it's weak. It's really weak, which is why I had to add the auxiliary lights onto my bike, because, my commutes to work sometimes, now when I'm leaving to work in the morning, it's dark, and sometimes if I have to work late and I come home, it's dark. I need good lights. It's not only for me to see, but it's also to be seen. Now, a lot of times I turn the headlight on the bike, on the main headlight, after the sun started to come up or just before it goes down, and I turn it on just as a be seen kind of a thing, because it's not real bright. It doesn't do a lot. Now, I guess on the 3rd gen bike they did change the front headlight. It's supposed to be brighter. I've not seen one. I don't really know how bright they are. I know that my auxiliary lights, they work excellent. What else do we talk about here? Okay, excuse my sniffles. Like I said, all my videos, I got allergies really bad. I think I'm allergic to air. All right, so next thing on my gripe list, fenders. The fenders on this bike are not good. They look good. That's all it is. They're mostly a visual. The back fender is not bad. It keeps from here down around. It protects all of the bike here. All of this in here, protects all of this real well, but it doesn't protect your backside. Water comes up off of here and it gets thrown up onto your back. It needs to be a little longer. It needs to wrap around a little bit more to keep everything dry. The front fender, it does nothing right here. This is covered with mud right now, just from hitting an occasional puddle here and there. It throws everything right up on the bike. So this fender here should really come down to about here, something like that, just to keep the debris off the bike. If you're going to have fenders on the bike, they should do what fenders are supposed to do. Keep the splashing and the mud and stuff like that off of the bike itself and off of you. These fenders, they don't really do anything. The back one's okay. The front one, not good at all. All right, one more thing. Big dislike. And this isn't the only manufacturer that does this. A lot of manufacturers do this. The charge port for the battery is way down low. It's down here. Okay? That makes it a little difficult to see, and when you come home and it's dark or whatever, it's a little difficult to see to plug it in. Now, and the Ariel Rider is just a pin. It's just a post. It's easy to plug into. My girlfriend's bike, her Aventon, it's got like It's got like 3 little triangle shapes that you have to get it lined up to get it plugged in. And being down this low, it's not good. Let's face it, a lot of people that are buying these bikes are my age. They're senior citizens. Our bend over don't work so good. Our eyesight is not so good. It shouldn't be down here. It should be up here somewhere. It should be right here. It should be up on the top, not down on the bottom. Now, like I say, that's not just a complaint on the Ariel Rider. That's in general. I wish that they would put the charge ports up at the top. All right, a wish list. What do I wish? If I could wish for one thing on this bike aside from better brakes, or quieter brakes I should say, and a softer shock, what would be my next wish list? I wish the bike had a dual battery. Doesn't need a dual motor. If I wanted it, if I wanted that, you could buy a Grizzly, and the Grizzly is an amazing bike. But it's not. Look, I don't off-road. It's not what I need. I ride city riding most of the time. This is my commuter. I have it set up as a commuter. And I think a lot of people that ride this bike use it for that purpose. I wished it had a dual battery. I'd like to see a battery mounted under here somewhere. It would be nice if either they offered it that way or if they made a retrofit kit. Now that would be really cool. Now, is Ariel Rider ever going to do that? No. They're not. I really don't see it happening. It's something that at one point I'm going to have to address it myself, and I'll see if I can find a battery that'll fit under there. I'll have to make my own mount, my own cage to hold the battery, and eventually I would like a dual battery. And the reason I would like a dual battery is not for speed. I would keep it, 52 volt, blah, blah, blah. Just because this thing works. It's durable. I don't want to mess with the operation, the mechanical aspect of the bike at all. The only reason I would want to do a battery is longer range. I mean, if there's those days where I want to go for a long ride and maybe I don't want to pedal all the time, it would be nice to have a little longer range. Now, I ride, I don't know, I think it's 13 miles round trip to work. I pedal all the way, and I usually use the throttle on the way home. By the time I get out of work, I'm tired, I don't really want to pedal. And so I just use the throttle all the way home. Now, having said that, I've never gone down less than having 2 bars remaining on the battery charge. Usually I'm right around 3 bars. Sometimes it goes down to 2. I haven't run out of battery, but let's just say if I wanted to do, a 30-40 mile ride on a weekend or something like that, it would be nice to have a little further range on the battery. Okay, so that's, my wish list. Better battery, lighter shock in the rear, better fenders. That would be my wish list. The headlight I'll address at one point. I'll end up changing the bulb in it and get a little more brightness out of it. Okay, let's talk about the modifications that I've done to this bike. All the modifications that I've done to this bike are all either comfort, convenience. I didn't modify anything from the mechanical aspect except for the sprocket upgrade that I did. That's the only mechanical change that I made to the bike. Didn't do anything with batteries, chargers, speed, nothing like that. So my mods. Let's talk about this, the top case. This is awesome. I can get my helmet in there, which I think it's in there right now. I get, when my helmet's on my head, my lunch bag goes in here. So right now, I got my winter helmet in here, and I wear this one because it's starting to get cold in the mornings now. Now 30-40 degrees, it keeps my head nice and warm. So it's perfect. I really like it. It's very quick to release. Oh, I can do the same thing here. So to show you how fast it releases, that's it. Okay, put it back on. You get the tabs lined up, and it just snaps on. So the top case is excellent. It's a Givi top case. I put this back pad on it, and I do use the back pad. Now the only thing that I don't like about it is, and let's see if I can do it. Nah, it doesn't really do it when it's sitting still, but when you're riding it, it rattles a little bit. So the fix to that is I just lean up against the back of it and keep it from rattling. But I can probably put some rubber pads or something underneath there to kind of try to quiet that down a little bit. Other things that I like, handlebars. These are an 8-inch rise. So I changed these handlebars right from the get-go. I never even rode the bike, and I took the stock ones off. I put a BMX stem on it and BMX handlebars. These are an 8-inch rise, and I still have plenty of slack in the cables. You could actually probably get away with a 9-inch rise on them. So I really like the handlebars. I like the upright position. I lean over just a little bit, but it's not excessive. It's for me, leaning over on my hands, it's not good. My hands go numb. So these handlebars really helped with that. Auxiliary lights. I can't talk enough about those. They're super bright. I got them focused in pretty narrow, and I got them focused in so they're not too high, so they don't, you know, shine in vehicles, you know, eyes or people's eyes. I try to be a little courteous as far as that goes, but man, they really light up the road in front of me. I can really see things, and on my commute in the morning or on the way home, it's awesome for that. Tires. Let's talk about tires. There again, another thing that I did right from the get-go, before I even rode this bike day one, I changed the tires right away. I put these Shinko 244s on here. Now, I may have lost a mile an hour on my speed with these because they're a little bit heavier. I never noticed it because I never rode it with the stock tires. I'm going to tell you this about these tires. I've never had a flat. They're wearing extremely well. I'd probably get 3,000 miles or more out of these tires, probably way more than that. They're very grippy. I'm very confident when I go around a corner, unless there's, you know, a lot of sand or gravel, but you know, you can lean the bike right over, and they got plenty of bite, and they're excellent as far as that goes. If in doubt, this is what I'll tell you about tires. If you've got one of these bikes, put these tires on. Just spend the money. I can't remember what I spent for them. They were expensive, but well worth it. I've not had one flat. I carry stuff in my little bag here, you know, just in case I do get a flat. But I've never had a flat. These tires handle excellent, and there again, it's another one of those things. It's a conversation piece. I see other people on e-bikes. Man, where'd you get those tires? You know, I really want tires like that. And, you know, and then you know, we talk about it, and you know, the bike comes with 20-inch tires, but motorcycle tires are sized a little different, and these are 16-inch tires. You know, they're 16 by, I think they're 3.5, something like that. But they're, again, like I said, they're excellent. I have no regrets. Really like the tires. The mirrors. These are these half-knee mirrors. I'm going to give them a okay. They're not great. They're not horrible. I can see pretty good in them. They're kind of small. The pinch bolts, I have to keep adjusting the pinch bolts and tightening these things up, because as you're riding down the road and it vibrates, the mirrors like to move in. So occasionally I got to get an Allen wrench and I got to tighten this pinch bolt up so it pinches down on this ball a little tighter. And the thing with the mirrors is I bought this style because I just thought they fit, you know, the look of the bike better. But I wish they were more rounded, and I actually wish they kind of came out a little bit further. My arm kind of blocks my view from time to time, so I kind of wish they came out a little bit further. But you know, they're usable. They're better than nothing. That's for sure. So that would be my input on the mirrors. They're okay. They look great, but they're just okay. The horn. Oh, I really like the horn. It's nice and loud. People know I've had to use it on cars, and yeah, they definitely heard it, and it gets their attention. The horn is also an alarm. I've never used the alarm because I parked the bike indoors at work, and if somebody were to bump the bike, they wouldn't be able to shut it off, and it would drive them nuts. So I don't use the alarm at work. Now, maybe if I was out and about somewhere and I, you know, locked the bike up, went into a store or something like that, maybe I would use it, but for the most part, I don't use the alarm. It came with it, but I don't use it. What else? Okay, the sprocket upgrade. Yeah, we talked about that before, and I made a video on the sprocket upgrade on how to do it. For me, it was worthwhile. I got, I don't know, a couple, 3 more miles an hour out of it on my pedal assist. So what did that do for me? Well, like I say, I can pedal assist for I comfortably pedal at, it's a steady pace, you know, 23 miles an hour. That's fine for my commute. If you go to pedal assist 5, I don't really feel a lot of resistance in the pedals. Mostly at that point, then the motor's taking over and your feet are going around 1,000,000 miles an hour, but you're not really assisting the bike and utilizing, you know, or saving the power on your battery, which is why I did it. So that upgrade for me was worthwhile. I can't remember what it cost. I want to say it was $100, maybe. I don't know. It was 50, 100, somewhere in there. For some people, it may not be worth it. For me, it was worth it. And that's also part of, you know, all these things that I did to this bike. It was making it mine. I made this bike mine. Now, some of the modifications and things that I did on here may not be everybody's cup of tea, but for me, it's perfect. It's my bike. I do to it what I want. I put these OD grips on here. I really like these grips. I got my Lamicall, or is that what it's called? Lamicall phone holder, and everybody teases me because I got it on upside down. But for me, it works perfect, you know, because I can just set my phone in here, and I got a big phone, and just push down on it, and then it locks in. It's easy for me to get in and out. So the sprocket, yeah, that was good. Pedals. These are, I got these on Amazon. I left a link for them somewhere. What are they called? MZYRH is the name that's on them. They're a little bigger platform than the stock pedals that came with it. They've got really good spikes. In fact, with my work boots, once you get your feet set on the pedals, you're not readjusting your foot. It doesn't move. You can't just slide them on the pedals, so they're really, really grippy, and I like them for that reason. The anodizing has held up on them really well. It hasn't worn off. I got 1,000 miles on them, and the pedals still look new. The tank bag. Really like the tank bag. It holds my battery for my auxiliary lights. It holds my tool bag, tire patch kit, all that stuff. My gloves. I got 2 different pairs of gloves in here. My foldy lock is in here. I got a net that I can stretch over the top of the trunk if I have, you know, extra stuff that I want to put on the top. So the bag I really like, and I modified the bag, and I did that in one of my videos. Showed how I modified it to make it a little more rigid so it doesn't wobble around. Now the foldy lock. I really like this lock. It's very compact. It folds up really nice, but it's a little short. So what I mean by that is when it's around the bike, that's all you get. So I mean, it'll go through the frame and maybe around a pole. It doesn't give you a lot, but for where I use it at work most of the time, it's okay. I wished it was a little bit longer. Now there's another brand of lock out there just like the foldy lock. I forget what the name of it is right now. It's escaping me, and it's a little bit longer, but it was a lot more expensive. So for what I'm using this for, the foldy lock is just fine. I think that pretty much, excuse my sniffles again, that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about on the bike. Bike has been excellent. I love it. I have no regrets. I have no desire to have anything any different. I'm going to continue making some modifications. I got some things that I want to do to it that are going to, you know, I'll make some videos on them. I want to change the rear shock spring. I want to change the front fender. I would like to do something with a dual battery, but that's going to be a winter project because I'm not doing that until I'm not riding the bike anymore. Basically, I will ride this bike until the snow flies. Once the snow flies, I put it away. I won't ride it in the salt and the snow. I won't trash my bike. I don't ride it in the rain. Like I say, I only ride it on fair weather days, which is lately isn't. This year it's been almost all summer. We've had very, very little rain. It started out with a rainy spring, and we've been in a drought. So the only time I actually drive my truck is when it rains. I won't ride my bike in the rain. I don't want to trash it. I don't want it getting all rusty. So I don't want any corrosion in the wires or anything like that. I take care of my bike. Right now, it needs a good wipe down. The wheels are a little dirty. Like I said, the front frame, it catches a lot of crap. The bike needs a little wipe down, so maybe this weekend I'll get around to doing that. As soon as I got to do it every couple of weeks, but it gets a lot of dust on the road, and it kind of has a tendency to stick to the wheels. But yeah, so that's it on my my 1,000-mile review. Bike's been excellent. Haven't had any problems at all. It's gone up a little bit in money since I bought this one. It's gone up a couple $100, but they also did make a lot of changes to it. Put a better shock on it. Got rear turn signal, better headlight. Can't remember if it's got a horn or not. Anyway, they did a bunch of changes to it, so to me it justified the couple $100 increase. I still think, even at what it's going for now, it's the best bargain out there going in an e-bike. It's 52 volt, does 30 mile an hour. It's got a 1,000 watt hub motor that peaks at 2,000 watt. It's got all kinds of power, but it's not excessively fast to where you're attracting attention from the police or whoever. So I mean, I ride by police on the sidewalks all the time. They never give me any problems. I've had them give me the thumbs up. I've had a lot of conversations with the police in regards to this bike, and it's all been positive. So no, this is super happy with the bike. If you're thinking about getting one and you like the moped styling, get one. I have no regrets. Alright guys, that's it for my 1,000-mile review. If you like my videos, you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe, comment. If you have questions, ask them in the comment section. I answer my comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. So that's all I got for today.